Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Massive welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, a few years ago, I went to the Glastonbury Music Festival here in the UK with over 170,000 people attending. But what should have been only a 3-hour drive ended up being 15 hours due to road closures. I mean, I could have flown to the other side of the world in that time. But even if I did that, I could have encountered similar problems with the airport security process. In a nutshell, wherever there are big events or large crowds, frustration quickly follows. But advances in technology means it shouldn't have to be this way anymore. Now, I recently discovered a company called Blip Systems, and they're using Bluetooth sensors at some of the biggest airports and events in the world, such as JFK in New York, Cincinnati Airport, and even my nearest airport, Birmingham, here in the UK. Blip Systems sensors aim to remove those pinch points, bottlenecks, and also offer proactive crowd control methods. Essentially, a complete overview of travel times, dwell times, queue points, etc. But enough of my ramblings. It's time to beam your ears all the way to Denmark, because we've got Christian Carstens from Blip Systems who's going to tell us all about it. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell me a little about who you are and what you do?
All right, my name is Christian. I work for a Danish company called Blip Systems, where I do all the marketing and I speak to journalists like yourself, and I do all the branding and all the marketing for Blip Systems, and kind of trying to brand Blip Track.
So you're based in Denmark at the moment. Whereabouts in Denmark are you located?
In northern Jutland. That's 400 kilometers north of Copenhagen.
Fantastic. Now, before we get into how Blip is making a big difference in airports and other high traffic facilities to quickly and efficiently manage queue and flow, can you tell me a little bit more about Blip and expand on exactly what services it offers and what problems it sets out to solve?
Blip Systems is a business intelligence company, provides solutions to efficiently manage queue and flow. And how we do that is by integrating data from multiple data sources, such as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi sensors. It could be boarding card scanners. It can be loops in the highway. It can, just multiple solutions. And we're able to analyze and integrate these data and give management an overview of the current situation.
One of the great things I read about you, Goss, which really captured my attention, and you said that the Blip is essentially a sensor-agnostic company. I mean, can you explain what you meant by that?
We have been branded as a solution that uses Bluetooth and Wi-Fi sensors to track people, and by that way we are able to measure queue and flow. But when I say sensor-agnostic, it's because we actually are able to use multiple data sources, including Wi-Fi and Bluetooth sensors. But also 3D cameras, people counters, and other third-party data sources. And what that does, it provides insights and to help reduce overhead, maximize revenue, and just provide passengers with the optimum service.
Excellent. Now, one of the reasons I invited you on the show today was because you recently appeared on my radar after I read about how, I think it was the Royal New Zealand Air Force show, experienced a disastrous traffic congestion caused by the unexpectedly high spectator numbers. But organisers of the 2017 event knew that they needed to avoid a repeat performance. But fortunately, in those 5 years since the previous one, Bluetooth sensor technology was available to assist ensuring far smoother traffic flow. But I think it's a great story of how tech solved a big problem for a live event and the thousands of people that were attending there. But can you expand on that story and how Bluetooth sensor technology made a big difference to that show? Because I think it's a great case study.
Well, what they did, we're just a small piece of that project, but we've been working with New Zealand Road Agency for a couple of years now, and our sensors are basically placed all over the North Island of New Zealand. So they use our technology, and they the data that they're provided are very useful to them to see how travel times develop and to see where bottlenecks occur and so on. So what they did was to place these sensors at this event and they were able to provide information on screens and through their mobile app. So people could see travel times on the various roads going into that show. They were just able to maximize their time.
Another thing that I love is you seem to be scattered all over the world at the moment. I mean, you're based in Denmark. This air show was in New Zealand. And also you've got a big presence here in the UK, because I believe that you supply the similar technology at Birmingham Airport, Bristol Airport, Edinburgh Airport, and the Port of Dover. There's just so many examples that I could read out. I mean, but... Right. Can you tell me a little bit more about these network of blip track sensors and the technology behind them, and how they made a big difference at that event in New Zealand and equally at these airports all over the world too?
But basically, the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi sensors that we developed some years ago are able, when you place sensors at a distance between them, they're able to detect the MAC address of people's wireless devices, whether that be in a phone or in a car. And what it does is it picks up this anonymous device ID. It's not you can't see any personal information on what that. So it basically just timestamp as you pass one of those sensors, and when you pass another sensor, well, you're able to measure travel time between points. So what that does is just, the more sensors that you place, it just provides a flow of how devices. We're not particularly interested in the individual. We're more interested in seeing where bottlenecks occur, or travel times in different roads, or whether that be in a security line at the airport and so on.
And like I said a few moments ago, I think it's important for the listeners to know that this isn't just one success story, and your technology is being used all over the world. I mean, I've got more examples in front of me here in Thailand, Sweden, Switzerland, as well as Denmark and the UK that we've already mentioned. But again, you seem to be excelling in capturing that point-to-point journey pattern and travel time of drivers all in real time as they pass those sensors. We have listeners into the show in 150 different countries, and I suspect many people listening have probably encountered your technology without even realising it at various airports, train stations, and even ski resorts all around the world. I mean, are there any other examples you can share with us to give the listeners the idea of how versatile that tech is, and also help them visualise it, just how widespread it's in use?
How to see our solution at work? You could go to one of the airports, and if you are presented going into let's say an airport process like the security process, and see that your estimated wait time may be 12 minutes. That is one of the outputs that comes from our solutions.
So what kind of feedback have you received from these wide range of international clients that are scattered essentially in multiple industries? I mean, do you have any feedback stories that you could share with us today?
Well, we have a couple, but one I'm particularly fond of is Cincinnati Airport, that in 2015 placed the technology at their TSA processing line. And they did a comparison of the wait times. And then a year later, after using our technology, we're able to detect that they've been able to cut the wait time by 1/3. They probably just used our data to see where pinch points and bottlenecks occurred, and then try to act from there. That's basically what our solution does. Is we provide like an overview of travel times and dwell times and queue times. And management are able to see where to act on these peak points.
Did you have something similar at JFK Airport in New York as well?
Yeah, they used the technology in the same way, both at the security process, but also at check-in. And there you are provided on large screens with your estimated wait time as you enter the queue. So that is basically just easing the passenger's journey. When you know how long you're expected to wait, and it just enhances the passenger experience.
So I've got to ask, what's the history behind Blip Systems and the inspiration behind it? I mean, did you spend a lot of time in airports or getting frustrated in traffic jams and decide to do something about it? I mean, what is the inspiration behind Blip Systems?
Oh, well, Blip Systems started out as a buyout. It was 9 engineers that worked for Ericsson, and they were working on a technology to provide information when you was standing, let's say, at a cinema.
Yeah.
And then you could be at certain points, and if you had your Bluetooth on, you would be provided with information about a certain movie, or you could be provided with a trailer or an advert or something like that. But as the smartphone developed, everyone had this technology. The Bluetooth thing kind of went away. So what they turned it around, and instead of sending things out through Bluetooth, they were able to detect these devices, and they just saw a market for this to detect these queue wait times, dwell times, and so on. And they just saw a market for this in the airport industry or other high traffic areas.
I also read a great quote from you guys, which went something like, to understand and improve individual areas at airport operations, it is important to understand that each area influences another. The less time passengers spend in airport processes, the more they will enjoy the concession area. Can you offer a little bit more information about how it actually improves our experiences and the gains that it's actually providing for airports and your clients?
All airports already have many technologies at hand. That could be CCTV, or it could be boarding card scanners, or it could be blip track sensors. And you know, being able to analyze all this data mining, if you will, it provides management with a better understanding of where and how people move, and this enables them to one thing, to optimize opening hours, signage, shop locations, and general layout to improve the retail tenancy mix and maximize revenue. And by analyzing sales patterns, retailers in the airport are provided with valuable information on how to improve and optimize services, such as resource allocation, product placement, and so on. And what it also does, managers are able to, as I said before, provide wait times on screens. They're able to process people faster so they don't breach KPIs. And the faster people are going through these processes like check-in or security, and they're eased at the first steps of their travel, it just enhances and increases the concession dwell time. And you know, the more you spend in concessions, the more you probably buy. So it's one thing that you're able to provide passengers an improved experience, but at the same time, with passengers that are eased and don't feel stress on their journey, will basically just spend more at the concession. You know, the airport management are able to extract any combination of data, both real time and historically, to provide the desired output. For example, airports can review how long a typical passenger spends in a duty-free shopping areas. And this pattern can be averaged over a day, a week, a month, as well as a specific time of day, a specific holiday, and so on. And these statistics can be measured in any area of the airport. That would be check-in, security, restaurants, retail, and so on. And these statistical combinations are as general or precise as management wishes to be for review and optimization purposes.
So moving forward, how do you see Blip Systems actually evolving? I mean, what's next on the horizon for you guys?
Well, Blip Systems was actually bought a couple of months ago by a New Zealand company called Gentrack. And Gentrack also offers an AODP system. One thing they offer through their product called Airport 2020. And besides buying Blip Systems, they also bought a Maltese company called CA+, which is more into the whole concessions, in-shop analytics, and so on. I just see a lot of synergies of these three companies coming together and are able to provide airports with a much broader solution.
Can you remind the listeners of how they can reach out to you guys with any further questions, and along with your website details too, just in case anyone's got any further questions about anything that we've spoken about today?
Blip Systems is basically BLIP systems in one word, and then .com. We can also be reached by sales@blipsystems.com. And if you can't find us, just look up Blip Track.
Well, a huge thank you for coming on the show today. I appreciate everything you do. There are so many examples out there of people using tech to resolve problems that don't actually exist. But we've all sat in traffic. We've all been stuck at airports for longer than we care to be. And equally, the people that manage those institutions as well, they need technology to better manage it. So you've tackled this problem and been able to fix it using technology. And for that, I salute you. So a big thank you for coming on.
Well, you're welcome. And feel free to contact me anytime.
What I love about this story is Blip Systems is a company based in Denmark. And although we're all gathered around this virtual campfire together this evening with people from over 150 countries, many of us would have come across Blip Systems without even knowing it. And these tiny sensors are actually improving experiences at places like JFK Airport in New York, numerous UK airports, air events in New Zealand, and also in Thailand too. And it's all about removing those pinch points, bottlenecks, and delivering a proactive control method that's actually fit for the digital age. And that's got to be a fantastic thing. And for anyone listening that manages big events, or indeed the traffic chaos that usually surrounds them, they now have a complete overview of travel times, dwell times, and queue points, etc., all to improve customer experiences. I think it's great to see the impact this tech solution is already providing, and more importantly, how we're starting to think differently and not just put up with things, saying things like, well, it is what it is. So again, a big thank you to Christian Carstens for coming on the show today. And as always, an even bigger thank you for everyone listening to the show. And remember to email me, the usual places. You can email me at techblogwriter@outlook.com. And don't forget to tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. But that's it for this episode. So a big thank you to everyone listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.